Hello and welcome to English Grammar for All. In this video I'm going to talk about the past simple tense, and we all know that the past simple tense is formed by the verb in the past form, and there are two types of verbs in the English language: regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs are those verbs to which we add ed to the base form of the verb. Take for example the verbs gain. We just add ed in the past form, so it is gained, help, helped, report, reported. Some examples for the irregular verbs: we have the verb do, past form is did, cut, cut, put, put, go, went, sleep, slept. Now we come to some important notes on adding the ed to the verb. Some verbs or the verbs ending in a consonant plus e, we just add the d. Like for example the verb save, the past form is saved. Verbs ending in a vowel plus a consonant, like for example the verbs stop and rain. Generally here we have two kinds of verbs in this category: one syllable verbs and two syllable verbs. As for the one syllable verbs, we have two examples: the verb stop and the verb rain. As for stop, we notice here that the verb ends in a vowel plus a consonant. So when this is the case, we double the consonant and just add the ed. So we have here the verb stop is spelled like this: S-T-O-P-P-E-D. Rain, the other example, ends with two vowels and one consonant, so we just add the ed here. As for the two syllable verbs, like for example the verb offer and the verb prefer, we have to look at the stress here. The verb offer, the stress here is on the first syllable, so we just add the ed. As for the other verb prefer, we notice here that the stress is on the second syllable, so we have to double the final letter, which is here the r, and then add the ed. So generally speaking, two syllable verbs, if the first syllable stressed, just one consonant. If the second syllable stressed, we have two consonants at the end of the verb, and then we add the ed. Verbs ending in y, take for example the verbs play and cry. We have to look at the verb or the letter before that precedes the y. We have here in the verb play we have a vowel sound, so we just add the ed. So play, played, just add ed. As for cry, the y here is preceded by a consonant, so we change the y into I and then add the ed. Other verbs ending in ie, like for example the verb lie, we just add d. So the past form of lie is lied. Other verbs ending in double e, like for example the verb agree and disagree, we just add d. As for the pronunciation of the ed ending, verbs ending in voiceless sounds k, p, s, ch, sh, f, the ed is pronounced t. Like for example the verbs look, looked, watch, watched. Another group of verbs which end in voiced sounds, such as v, l, n, b, and vowel sounds, the ed is pronounced d. Examples: clean, cleaned, rob, robbed, play, played. If the verb ends in t or d, the ed is pronounced id. Examples: need, needed, want, wanted. Let's look at some examples of the example sentences in the affirmative, negative, and in how to form questions in this tense. And it is very important, by the way, to be able to make sentences in the affirmative, and how to put the sentences into the negative form, and how to form questions. So, as for the affirmative, let's look at this sentence, for example. The secretary typed all emails. This sentence is in the affirmative. We have the verb type, past simple of the verb type is typed. Another example using verb to be, she was at home. Note here that in forming the negative, the first sentence is formed like this: the secretary did not or didn't type all emails. Whereas as for verb to be, the negative form is formed by using not after verb to be. So we have she was not or wasn't at home. When forming questions, firstly, yes, no questions. You start by the helping verb did, followed by the subject and the infinitive form. So if we ask a yes, no question about the first sentence, so it will go like this: did the secretary type all emails? Yes, she did if yes. No, she didn't if the answer was no. If we would like to form yes, no questions with verb to be in the past form, we form the questions by inverting. So the question goes like this: we follow was or were at first, and then the subject and the rest of the sentence. For example, was she at home? Yes, she was, or no, she wasn't. As for using or forming WH questions, start by the question word followed by did, then the subject, and followed by the infinitive. If we ask a question like this, for example, we start with the question word and then the helping verb did, followed by the subject and the infinitive. For example, if we ask about emails, the question goes like this: what did the secretary do? Now we come to the use of the past simple tense. We use the past simple tense to talk about finished actions or which have no connection with the present. For example, my father worked as an inspector. Shakespeare wrote many plays. The past simple is also used to express longer past actions. Take the sentence, for example: my brother studied medicine at university. The past simple tense is used with words for a finished time such as yesterday, last, week, month, year, etc. In followed by a year, like for example in 2000. Also the word ago preceded by a period of time like 5 years, for example, and when. Take this sentence, for example, we arrived at 7 o'clock in the morning yesterday. We moved to Cairo 4 years ago. The past simple tense is also used to talk about past states and facts. For example, millions of Europeans immigrated to America in the 19th century. The past simple tense is used also to describe the events in stories. For example, Jane heard a loud noise outside, got out of her bed and opened the window. Another use for the past simple tense, which is for repeated or usual actions or situations in the past. Take this sentence, for example: Janine walked to school every day. Now we come to talk about used to. We all know that used to is followed by the infinitive. We use it to talk about past states and habits that we no longer do. For example, I used to play football. It was a habit. There used to be a big restaurant here. This was a state. Something has changed. The restaurant is no longer here. Sometimes the verb or the infinitive form of the verb is left out, like this example: I don't play golf now, but I used to. The negative form of used to is by using didn't plus used to, or never used to. She didn't used to smoke. Also, she never used to smoke. But we have to note here something very important. Nowadays, we often form the negative and question forms with used to instead of use, meaning that we don't delete the D from used to. So the last sentence, or another example for this, would be like this. Amanda didn't used to like school, but now she loves it. Note the difference between used to and the past simple. If the length of time is not mentioned, use used to. But if it is mentioned, we have to use the past simple. For example, I used to live there. I used to live there. I lived there for 10 years. And thank you very much for watching.